Good afternoon and welcome again to Masterminds, where we speak to those who, although they excel in their field, they're usually behind the scenes. So we get a peek at what they go through when they live their lives. Today we have with us Mr. Wayne Caesar, who is the band leader for the Juve band Jammer Productions. He was the former head of department for the TTFA referees department. He's the father of five, and according to Paul Keynes Douglas, he's my daddy. So let's welcome Mr. Wayne Caesar. Hi.
Hello and good afternoon, I should say.
Yes, good afternoon, Daddy. First off, happy Father's Day again.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, so let's get started. Now, I'm very curious because I've never spoken to you about this, but I'm curious about it. What got you started in football? Let's start with football first. What got you started in football? What made you become interested in football?
All right. Well, football in my era when I was a young boy, I'm now 70 years old. When I was a young guy, all we had was football and cricket. So at the tender age of about 5, 6, you started playing football. We didn't know much about it, but we played, So that was in me from ever since from a little boy straight into uh, school and after school.
Okay. And what did you like about it?
Football?
Yeah.
Everything. Football is the most entertaining game in the world. I challenge anybody to show me a game that is more entertaining than football.
Listen to me. When daddy's eyes is on that screen, grass would grow, the sky could turn fluorescent. He would not hear you. I know you love your football. So with the band, with the Juve band Jammer Productions, what made you decide, or how did that come about?
Well, I used to play. I am originally from Marwa. I used to play Juve in Portersfield, play with Chairs, play with different bands and so on. Mudmask. My brother Earl, they used to play oil. I never liked oil, but they used to play with oil with Kids. I never liked it. So I used to play with the different bands that play in mud. And one year, normally I would leave. I had started to work San Fernando, so I was living in San Fernando. And I left San Fernando this Sunday evening. Normally we would leave this Sunday evening, and we would parade all the different fets and so on, and then we would go to play Juve. So this year, I think I was playing with Rick. Rick, I think was that year. And during the course of the parade, I met a young lady who was working with us. She lived in Fernando too. So she asked me if when I'm finished, if I'm going back to San Fernando. I said, yeah. He said, okay, I want a job to go down. I said, no problem, but you have to wait until I finish. So we agreed to meet at a certain point. And
it was just now. We know how to do.
And at that point, we jump in the car and we coming down the road. And I don't know. All I remember, she said that I was talking to her. Right? I drive in the car, both of us are in the car. I was talking to her. My eyes wide, but I dropped asleep.
Wow.
We were heading down just by on the refinery there on the highway, one of the area there.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Realized like I was heading for the grass between the medium on the road.
Yeah. Woo.
And she just hit me and wait. And when I like wake up, get myself, although my eyes open, I was sleeping. And well, something like that. I pull back on the road and keep on going. I drop her and I went and I continued parading in San Fernando as normal.
Was I alive at this time?
Yes, you were very small. I think you were up at your aunt's.
Okay. Okay.
Right?
In Trinity.
In Trinity, right.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, after that, you prayed and you're young and you prayed and you do. And then I went home and I studied. I said, but you almost lost your life because you're young, you're doing everything without any care. And I decided that would have been my last year playing Juve for us. Because I started to work in San Fernando. And I decided, okay, I am going to bring out my band. I think I have enough knowledge of Juve, playing enough Juve in Port Spain to bring my own band. The first year was a disaster. The first year, everything fell apart, nothing worked. And then the following year, some of my friends, and I could call them, and I need to say their name, Michael Thompson, Chuck Sloan Seals, Ray Donner, Cheryl Guide, and myself. 5 of us. We decided to bring a band, a Juve band, Mudmats. We didn't have money. And we put $100 each. Each of us put $100. So the band started $500.
$100, okay.
$500. We didn't have money to pay a DJ. But there was this band that normally plays, and they didn't have much followers. Well, they had followers, but they didn't have people playing. And we decided to work with them. That was Black Gold. Black Gold was our first.
Oh, okay. Right? Yeah.
Cheryl and Richard had a nice thing going, and we organized, and they say, okay, they will play for us. We didn't have to pay them. No, I don't want to say the price, but we didn't have to pay them any exorbitant.
Yeah, there was an understanding.
And then Chuck, Yeoman Service, he got all the dirt. We got special place in Faizabad. We got the dirt, and he made his trainers and all this for them, because the job he was doing, he could have done all those things. And
listen, before you go any further, I've never seen it, but I've heard of the process. How long it used to take to mix that mud?
Well, again, the first year was our feeling out year, all right? So we just mixed a barrel of mud, and we just put on, and we went out of the room. But we learned from that. The following year, we got bags of it, all right? And we had the process now on Saturday night, Carnival Saturday night, or Saturday evening. We put all the dirt in barrels to soak.
Right, I remember the barrels, yes.
Right. And then Sunday morning early, the whole street, all the young guys in the street, everybody would come out, and we would start straining this mud, straining it into the other barrels, cleaning it out, taking out all the stone, all the straw, anything that was
impurities,
we took it out. Put it in another barrel, and we had that day. So in the evening, by Sunday evening, everything will be there and ready, and we would put some perfume.
I remember listen, the sweetest smelling mud band there was.
Right. So we would have that perfume in the mud, so that when you open that lid on the barrel, the whole street is smelling sweet. And on Juve morning, what we would do, we would boil water. People say you boil mud, and so we never boil mud. You boil water and throw it in the mud. So you
Okay.
mix that. So the people when you're putting it on, it's not as cold. They
It
would be cold because people need it
warm.
cold, but it is not cold.
Hmm.
Like, it's not really warm, but it's not cold.
I remember it being warm. It used to feel nice when I was
Well,
allowed to play people. Yeah.
well, well. That was in the top part of it would be very warm. The bottom part would not
Oh,
be
okay.
as warm.
As
But
warm.
yeah,
Hmm.
but it will not
Yeah.
be cold, right? And if
Hmm.
you're cold, the remedy was you drink a shot of punch.
I
And
wasn't privy to
if
that.
not, if not, you say our Father and Hail Mary, and you blow it out.
Ah, but then I always wanted to find out because I saw another band try, and how was it with the cleanup afterwards? Because I remember being when you came to meet the band, they did it out on the street, and the band was big. It was big, and all down the hill, going all down Sutton Street, there were members of the band. So I always wondered, and you're going from there straight back to the band yard, to the to the where the band where the base was. And I always wondered, well, how did they clean up after, or how was it to clean up afterwards?
Well, we used to pay 2 or 3 little young guys to clean up our area there. But on the road,
Hmm.
the it was borough council at that time, and then into the city council. They had people
Hmm.
cleaning the roads, right?
Oh,
But
okay.
but again, as I said, a lot of people didn't mind because we were smelling sweet. I remember
Yeah,
one band leader. He had the biggest band in Dubai at one time, and he told me, he said, "I know when all you pass." You say, I surely gone because I could smell that all you gone already. You understand?
that used to, that felt it. And the first year, mommy allowed me to play, and I got the mud, and I was like, okay, this feels so nice and warm. And I went through Juve, and when I got back home, and I took my bath after that, and my skin felt like silk. I was just saying, mommy, gosh, ask them for a little bit of mud for afterwards because if your skin really, it felt good. It felt really good. And I always like
I
that
could,
about the mud mask.
I could give you something about that. There was one lady, she's still alive. I don't want to call her name, but very aristocratic, and she said,
Mm-hmm.
I told her after she played, I asked her, well, how was it? She said, when Mike told me about this mud bath, I said to myself, mud, me, mud on my skin, more, never happened. So I said, well, okay, how you feeling now? She said, are you taking registrations for next year one time?
I'm when I was part of the band, I like to hear that about people because I remember once we had cheese paste for breakfast, and there was this girl, a fairly young girl, and she came in, and I was like, "Do you want a cheese paste sandwich?" And she looked at me, cheese paste? What is cheese paste? I was like, cheese paste, but I'm hearing the accent now, so I realized she
Yeah.
doesn't know what cheese paste is. And I said, well, try one. We also have turkey sandwiches. So I said, well, try the cheese paste and take a turkey so you know which one. If you can't eat one, well, then you still fill your stomach with the other. She came back for two more cheese paste sandwiches after that.
Well, good introduction.
Good introduction. I'm sure that stuck. That was a memory that's going to stick with her because anytime she hears cheese paste now, she's going to think of German Productions. All
But
right.
that's not
So
the only memory that's going to stick with her. Once you play with this
I
band,
know.
right, good.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody
It's
comes
a
back.
yeah. That's a testament to the band. That's a good testament to the band. Um, what with regards to football, what made you become serious about it? What made you say this is something I want to pursue professionally?
No, I never had the notion to pursue it professionally. I just wanted to play, right?
Hmm.
And I was pretty good at it. So I just kept moving from, and funny enough, I never made my school team playing football.
Ah,
I made the school team playing cricket. but football was a passion. It's only after I left school then I joined 7 Up Lanes in South. And
Mm-hmm.
from there, everybody thought I was good. That's how I got the nickname Paulo from a Brazilian footballer, Paulo Cesar. So that's how I got
Really?
it. Yeah. Yes,
No,
I
I
did
never
something
heard
like
that
that.
story.
Well,
I always
nobody,
thought you had
only
the
only my close friends will know that.
I always thought you had the nickname Paulo because that's where you worked. Long Paulo's like side.
No, 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 no. That's because of the football.
I like I'm finding out things today.
Uh,
And
so
and
they
with the
thought
Juve.
I played like him, and
Mm-hmm.
from that I just kept, progressing. I even got
Okay.
called to play for the SFA team, his own team, and I went
Mm-hmm.
once, and there was a little misunderstanding. I don't want to talk about it, and I never went
That's
back.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But with the Juve, how with the band, what made you? Because I know you said because of the incident with the coming down the highway, that made you get serious about it. But
That is what made me
what
start the band.
what made you continue? Decide to continue? Like, yeah,
The
this is
people,
what I want to do. The
the
people.
people, the people. Because if you would realize our band is the cheapest band in Central.
Yeah, I know
But
that.
the registrants are cheapest, all right?
Mm-hmm.
And we give out more things than some of those all-inclusive bands, all right?
Mm-hmm.
And the joy is after when you meet people on the road and they tell you how much they enjoy themselves and so on. That is what made me
That
continue.
feeling.
At one time, our band was the biggest band in San Fernando.
I remember that.
Anyway, right? We used to hit
Yeah.
sometimes the promenade with 2,000 people. Don't
Mm-hmm.
mind maybe 1,000 storm. But and I think
But
that is what make us change from the mud band to the modern band because
oh, okay.
we had too much people storming, and then eventually
Mm.
we'd have maybe end up like Borough Beach, where you have more
Making a
people
loss.
storming the band than
Yeah.
yes, and we would have had to take money from our pockets to pay DJ
Mm-hmm.
and sort of thing. All
Mm-hmm.
right. There was one year we hired 25 army men,
Mm-hmm.
25 army men, and 5 armed police, and
Mm-hmm.
still couldn't control the band. We finding fellows with knives and cutlasses and so on. You leaving home with a
Oh.
cutlass to play in the band. Well, they didn't really come to play in the band. They just on the road and they seen everybody enjoying it and they jump in the band because it's much. So some they see somebody they know and they take some rub up on them and they in the band.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So all of that made us look, decide, listen, this is going a little too far. We need to curb that. All right?
Okay.
You would have
Okay.
lost a lot of people, but we said that the diehards will stay. And so said so that
They
the
did. Yeah,
people
they
who
did.
wanted
Yeah.
to play, they stayed. So,
I remember that as you're speaking, that memory came to me. Before I was allowed to play, I used to go with mommy. My mom didn't really play all the time, and when she would take me, we may stand on the promenade, and she would say, "Okay, look the band coming, look the band coming. Let's see if you can find your father." And this man always had a bucket of mud on his shoulder, and,
and,
I
and
would always feel right, and I would always feel I wouldn't see him. I would just feel mud on somebody, and I was like, "Okay, Daddy, you're wrong." And when I look, it's because I'm smelling sweet. That tradition continued for how many until I started to play
yes,
because by then I already
yes,
have the.
yes,
But
yes.
I remember looking around like I must find him one year. I must see him before he come. Never saw him.
No, no. If
Never
I
saw him.
once I see you before, you wouldn't see me until I'm right up on you.
And I never see him before. I always used to
Yeah.
feel it.
There was one year, and
Mm.
let me give you this little thing. You're not going to think that. Sprang along. He was at the
Mm-hmm.
top of High Street. Now, he and Mike and one or two of the other guys are good friends. So they came and said, listen, sprung along at the top of High Street and he hiding behind people. So we decided we had a thing we used to do. Once we know somebody and he's hiding,
Mm-hmm.
wherever he is, we send people around
Go
so that
around.
one would come here,
Yeah.
one here, one in front of him, two on the other side. So if you any side you try to go, you're meeting one of us. And we had cloth that we used to put the mud on with people. So we
Yes, I
soak that
remember.
in the barrel. And
Mm-hmm.
when you pull that up,
Mm-hmm.
it's dripping, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we decided to go for Sprangaland, and as he saw Mike was his good friend, he saw Mike coming,
Mm-hmm.
and he started stumble. Mike said, "We have you today." He said, "No, I have to go to work." All right? And he started to
Mm-hmm.
run. And Mike fell the club and he
Oh
catches up
no.
in front of me. So the ball got straight on him.
Oh gosh.
And by
Yeah.
the time they finished his sprang and they could hardly make him up. But he
He
took it
didn't
in,
go
in
running?
good he took it in good fun. But we don't know what happened to him after because we left and went our way.
Well, yeah, you're not gonna stay at the scene of the crime. You're
Yeah.
going.
Well, the man moving, so we have to move too.
Yeah, yeah. But with all of that, with football, let's go back to football. What was the most
Yeah.
memorable moment in all the years of playing football? What has been your most memorable moment?
Playing football or in football.
All of the above.
But in football, I think the most memorable thing for me was becoming a FIFA.
Oh yeah.
Right? So that would have been the most memorable. Although I played for years and so, but the most memorable and accomplishing thing is becoming a FIFA.
I remember I used to be fascinated with the whistle and the watch and the cards. I remember being fascinated at that.
Yes.
And in playing
I
football,
remember
what
you playing with the cards.
yeah, and I get both. Mhm.
Yes.
I remember getting both of them. But now as I'm older, I understand why. But I
Thank
mean at
you.
that point I want to see, yes, I want to see players like that. But in playing football, what was the most memorable moment? What's the most memorable match that you had? Or part of a match?
Um, there will be many. As I say, I used to enjoy the football, so there will be many. But one thing that I know I think I will never forget is that we were playing. Some were playing Telco. That time Telco just come out. And remember I worked in Telco.
Mhm.
So they had asked us to come and play about three of us, and we said no, we would stay with our team. And when your team reach up to our level, then we would maybe come across. And we had to play them for an FA.
Mhm.
And they were seriously, they were a really, really good team. They almost beat Defense Force. They were robbed the Port of Spain with Defense
Mhm.
Force and top teams in Port of Spain. They used to run rings around.
Mhm.
Anyway, on this day, we had score was 1-0. They were leading 1-0. And I could have kicked the ball, really kicked the ball. And I took a shot from about just past, a little past the half line, low hand, down into the corner of the goal. And
Mhm.
I was almost sure that the ball was in the net. And I started to jump in there, and only to see the goalkeeper reach across with his fingertips and turn it around the post.
Oh,
We lost the game 1-0. So that is one of the things I always remember.
don't count your chickens before it hatch. Make sure it in the net.
Yes.
I remember that with volleyball. I've had my experiences. But then, in the field of football, oh wait, before I move on to that, what was the most memorable moment in the band with Jama Productions?
Whew, that didn't worse because every moment was memorable. Oh, I could think.
I
Let me give you one thing that I will never ever forget.
mhm.
You remember Benny?
Yes,
Okay. Benny came and played with our band. I think we played Vex Till We Blue that year. And we
that's with
read
the
the blue,
that's with the when we had
blue
yeah
devils and stuff.
right
Right?
yeah I
Vex
played
Till We
that
Blue.
here
Right. Yes, because you and all the telco people played. Right?
yeah
Right. Anyway, Benny was playing. Benny is my good friend, but Benny is a character. Benny will do
Sure.
anything you could expect from Benny, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we reach at the top, the library corner. You know, Juve morning, the library corner is the busiest place.
Mm-hmm.
And Benny came and said, Paulo, I lost my glasses. I started to clear people because we're at the top of the library corner, everybody busy, and I called Chuck and Mike. I said, listen, Benny lost his glasses. It's somewhere around here. We had to find
Okay.
it for somebody. So
Hold on, hold on. For context, my father is not a small man. So when daddy started clear the corner will clear.
yeah. Well, and remember Chuck and Fat Boy? They just as
Right.
big as
Oh,
me, right?
yeah. So that corner is going
Right.
to be
So,
clear. Mm.
all right. So we started to move. We never found the glasses. So I
Mm-hmm.
said, I went by Benny. I said, Benny, listen, we didn't find the glasses yet. You'll have to do it out it for this month. He said, don't worry. It was a cheap one anyway. I could have killed Benny.
After,
After all that clearing by the library
after
corner
you
to look
clear
at
it.
glasses, it was a cheap one anyway. There are
After
some
you went
things
through all of that.
there are some things in the band that you will never forget. That is one I will never ever forget.
The band is full of characters. There's a guy who has a posy. I
Yeah,
forget
but
his name.
Dean Fortini.
Right, Dean Fortune. There's a guy that
Every year.
posy is he drinks from he has his posy and he drinks from the posy and it's not urine in the posy. But if you don't know him, you wouldn't know that.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know that. And that's
And the
just one of
way
the
and he does certain things to make you believe it's urine because he
and
would
it's
put the
urine.
posy down there,
Yeah.
turn his back and spray rum into it. Right? And then come and shake it in front of you
Yeah, you
and
wouldn't
drink and
know.
after you want some, you know.
The band
That
is
that
full
is
of
the
characters like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
we have and the thing is when they say characters, enjoyable characters.
Yeah.
Enjoyable
Yeah, that's just one.
what about superhero? You have a guy they call the superhero. He has everybody laugh. Everybody laugh. So
Listen, if people in San Fernando, even if you're not in San Fernando, and you come down for Juve whenever we are allowed to gather again and have Juve, and you see the band coming, just understand. Usually, there's a skit when they reach in front of the judges, and every year the skit is different. It goes with the theme. Every year is different. The last one was that the Flintstones? Was that the last one?
no, we did who did it in 19. The 19 was Flintstone.
No, it was just the other day, a couple
Well,
of years
19,
ago. But
19
I
was
remember,
19 was the last mass we had, you know. Remember we had nothing
oh,
in it.
2019. Yes, 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 yes. Right. And I remember
Oh,
one
sorry,
of the guys,
2020. 2020 was the last.
right, one of the guys made an actual the Flintstones car. The car, it rolled. I can't remember who was Fred. There was a Fred, there was a Barney, there was a Wilma, there was a Betty, there was even somebody trying to play Dino. It
Well,
was funny. It was funny.
you remember the whole band, the entire band was made up of those characters, right?
Yeah.
But we had the specialists, like
Yeah.
Gary and myself and Sale Superhero.
Hmm.
He was the Dino.
Hmm.
He was playing the
He
Dino.
was a Dino.
Yeah.
Dino. And listen, making his sound like Dino. It is, you all need to see these skits on a Juve morning. It is awesome.
Yeah,
Um,
and before you go for past that, you know what is remarkable
mhm,
about those kids? Sometimes we stay weeks trying to figure out what to do, what to present. And we can't
mhm.
figure it out. And 90% of those kids, 99% of those kids is figured out on the road.
On
And
the
say, okay,
road. Yeah.
we will do this, we
And
will do that, we will do so and so.
not just on the road, like about an hour before you all cross the stage, the skit comes
Well, right.
together.
Well, we do the thing one about a mile from the stage. We do a trial run,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Then we do what presented. But the decision to do it is on the road. It's on the road itself. We
Mm-hmm.
make all the decision. We
I
have
remember
ideas
that.
what we want to do,
Hmm.
But on the road, the final decision is made. And
I like that about it. Now, in terms of football, who do you or what, or is there somebody that you admire? The way how they function, the way how they play. Is there somebody that you look up to?
not really. My my favorite player of all time, since I was a young boy, was Franz Beckenbauer. They used to
Was
call him
who?
the Kaiser. Franz Beckenbauer.
Okay.
They used to call him the Kaiser.
Mm-hmm.
He was to control the whole team, the whole German team, as the captain of the German. And
German, German. See.
from since that, I have been supporting Germany ever since.
And your daughter's the same way. I love to see the Germans play. I love the way that they organized. Like when
Very
I helped
organized.
with FIFA that year, you would see the teams when they coming back into the stadium, they would come as a group. Germany formed a line. And when the line got together, then they moved. It was awesome
Yeah,
to
they,
watch.
they, they are
I've been a
very organized, very disciplined. You know, disciplined team in the world.
yeah, I love it. I love it. And in terms of carnival, is there a band or a person who are part of a band that you admire, the way how they function or anything like that?
Not particularly because I don't have much I don't have much. I've never dealt much with the bands on like Carnival Tuesday and so on. So I don't know. I know it's a lot of work. I know it's a
Mm,
lot of work, but I've never dealt with the in-house part of it. So I don't know. I never really.
okay.
But what I know that our little band there, Tribal Connection,
Which one? Tribal
Tribal
Connection.
Connection is the best looking band in Port of Spain on a Monday and a Tuesday. People look forward to that
Listen,
band. Best, most colorful, enjoyable band in
I always
Canada.
like to see you across the stage. I love to see you across the stage. It
Yeah.
feels authentic. It feels like what mass for me, what the traditional mass is supposed to look like. And then I
Yeah.
listen on a Sunday evening, Carnival Sunday evening, because I don't know how this man does it, him and his wife. I don't know how they do it. They're, let me give you the itinerary. They deal with the Juve band for the entire season. Carnival Sunday, um, they would go up. Would you all play on a Carnival Sunday? Yes.
Yeah, we
You
used to
used to
play
go
on
up
that
and play
song.
on a Sunday, right? And then come back down, see about the Juve band, about costumes and all of that. Daddy would come. Now I live very close to the band. So they would come, I would see Daddy come and sleep for us about excuse me, 2 or 3 hours. And then when I get up, he done downstairs already with the band. And excuse me. And then from Juve, they would leave, they would when the band is close to home, they would come home, bathe, change into the traditional costumes and head up the road to play a game. Listen, I used to be tired just thinking about it. I was like, that ain't for me.
No, well,
I don't know how to
what,
do it.
what used to happen? At least what happens is that normally, you know, Saturday, Carnival Sunday, those are the busy days for the band.
Yeah.
So we'll do whatever we have to do Carnival Saturday, Carnival Sunday. Which Sunday morning we would go up to Port of Spain and play with normally with all the traditional bands we play from uh, Piccadilly Greens to Adams to Square.
Hmm.
And then we would come back down. So when we come back down again, we go on into the Juve part of it and we go
Hmm.
till in the morning. Well, you know, I never used to really sleep, right? Going
Yeah,
straight,
I don't
right?
know how. Yeah. Hmm.
But when after Juve, when we leave the band, we come home and when we come by you and we bathe and change and so on, right?
Hmm.
And there is a bus to take us to Port of Spain. So once I hit that bus, I sleep until we reach the Port of Spain. And
I
then
remember in the beginning I thought you used to drive up.
at once I tried to do that, but it didn't make
It was
sense.
too much. Okay.
Yeah. So we take the bus and we go. And then when we finish play, the bus is there waiting for us again. So we come back down with the bus. So we sleep again. You come
Hmm.
home, You get your Epsom salts and so on because your body mash up, right? And you take a
Mm-hmm.
soak, a good soak in the tub, and early 5 o'clock in the morning again, you're ready, you're moving.
Yeah.
Because the
And you
bus
go
is
use it
moving at
again
six
again.
o'clock. 6 o'clock, gather meet the bus for 6 o'clock down on King Wharf.
And you, mm-hmm.
And the bus again and sleep again, going up, play. Uh, Tuesday, come back, the bus is there, you sleep again, and that's it.
I, Juve morning used to mash me up, much less because, but strange enough, Juve morning would mash me up, but for panorama, we stand from like 11 o'clock in the morning till probably 12 that night.
Yeah.
And yes, my foot would hurt, but it was a different tiredness to Juve morning. I don't know how you all do it. Juve morning used to take a lot out of me.
Yeah, but once you're enjoying, you don't feel it until
Yeah,
after.
yeah,
Until after.
probably, yeah. Okay, excuse me. Do you have words that you live by, like inspiring words that you live by?
Well, I, maybe. I don't know if you want to put it this way, but one of
Mm-hmm.
my things is that don't worry about something that you can't handle. Because if you cannot do anything about it, you can't. Right? If you could do something about it, do it. If you can't do anything about it, it doesn't make sense because you worry and it's still there. You understand? So there are things that if you can't do something about it, don't worry about it. But you can't do anything anyway. Right? I will remember there are times when I used to be at home and you're sitting down in the office there and you're trying to get something going on. No matter what you do, it just wouldn't get done.
Mm-hmm.
Making errors and so on. And I would just close that office, lock the office, and I
Mm-hmm.
leave and I walk down into the town or wherever it is, and I walk. I just walk. I look in some stores and I come back. Take about half an hour, 45 minutes. And I come back. And you will sit down there and everything will just start to flow smoothly. Smooth.
Oh, very good.
Try it and eat it.
Hmm.
Try it
I
and
will
eat it.
try it. I will try to adopt
Sometimes
that.
your mind needs to just take a break.
Reset.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, reset. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And start over. And everything just flows. It just flows.
I would think I will adopt that. I remember there are two things that you told me that always stuck with me. One was when I was probably 13, and it upset me at the time, but it was that I still live by because there was at the time Swiss watch was all the rage, and I wanted a Swiss watch, and I remember I went with you because I needed a watch, and you chose this. It really was a nice watch. I can't deny that, but I wanted a Swiss watch, and I remember you saying you told me everything you do it with class. And the watch really was a classy watch. Now, even now, as I'm remembering, the watch was like, that really was a nice watch. But I wanted the colorful Swiss watches. But that stuck with me because after the Swiss watches went, all the way, I still had that watch. And it looked good on my hands. So I grudgingly accepted that yes, it was a good purchase, but it always stuck with me. Everything you do, because you said it to me, everything you do it with class. And
Do
then
it to the
something
best of your
close,
ability.
right? And there's something else close to what you just said. You told me sometimes things happen in a certain way that was meant to happen. So something could go wrong, but um, the fact that it went wrong was probably to how am I going to phrase this? It's going to stop you from being worse. That's it. So if
It's, it's,
something go wrong,
it's a
just as you
strength.
say,
It's a strength new. It's a strength new. how you
Yeah,
deal with it
yeah,
is the important thing.
yes,
How you
right.
deal.
So I always kept that with me because something can go wrong, but it's how you deal with it. You don't have to stress over it. Learn from it and try to do better in the future. You know, those two
There was
things
there was,
always
there
stick
was,
with
there
me.
there was something I remember too. I
Mm-hmm.
remember I can't remember how old you were at the time, but I think we just started to go to secondary school. Or maybe a year or
Right.
two
No.
into secondary school, and you wanted a
Mm-hmm.
sneakers, a particular brand of sneakers, and the sneakers was I think $1,000 or something like that. And I said, no, I am not
Mm-hmm.
buying that for me, so I'm not buying that for you. I said, what I
Mm-hmm.
would do, it was not $1,000. At that time, it was not $1,000. It was around 500 or
It was
something.
it was expensive.
At that time, yeah. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, listen, I am going to put half the money, and if your mother want to put the next half, no problem. I don't think you got that sneakers. I think you got another sneakers. Right.
But that even with that, Daddy, it to this day, I am not impressed by brands unless it is something of quality and value that I could appreciate. Not because it
Yes.
has a name, I'm going to be attracted to it.
Yes.
I've learned from that. Yeah, I
Very
learned
good.
to accept. Thank you.
Very good.
I
Very, very good.
learned. I learned to accept quality and give
Yes.
value and try to give that is give exactly what I receive. Um, if you have to tell somebody who wants to get into football, they're interested and they want to learn about FIFA and the admin part of football, what would you tell if you have a few words to give them and to guide them? What would you tell them?
It is not easy to get into the administration of football. It is not
Hmm.
easy. For you to get into that, you need, well, for me, the best way to get involved and be knowledgeable is to join a
Hmm.
club. Join a club, be part of the administration in the club. So you will see how the club structure, well, suppose have club structure and so on, right? There are some
Hmm.
clubs with it, there are some clubs without it. But you will get to one of the
Okay.
reputable clubs, learn
Hmm.
from
They will
there,
have a structure. Hmm.
and then you go on to different stages, right? And you will reach
Hmm.
where you want to. But you cannot, well, let me not say you cannot because you want normalization committee now. And some people just
Hmm.
don't need it and they don't have much knowledge about the football, right?
Hmm.
They depend on other people to guide them along the way. Right now, they are working with people and contacts. So
Hmm.
that is why we can't reach anywhere yet.
Yet.
But
Hmm.
if you want, yeah, they will get there, but it will take some time. But if you really
Okay.
want to get into the administration, join a good club, all right? Join a good
And
club,
learn.
learn, and
Hmm.
your stepping stage will just go.
Okay.
Because
And in terms of.
I started playing football.
Hmm.
Then I was one of the administrators in the Lanes Club, or the executive member of the Lanes Club. Then
Hmm.
in the refereeing, with the FIFA refereeing, I got to learn all how to handle things outside and so on, right?
Yeah, they move
And
differently. Ooh.
well, you work with FIFA
Yeah,
in the World
they
Cup, right?
differently. That's right.
They plan their thing years in front, right?
Hmm.
2 or 3 years before they have all their things planned for any tournament and so on. And you realize
Hmm.
that. You realize how much stick I
Hmm.
got for,
Yeah, yeah.
and the thing is nothing that I could have done anything about. Most of the things that I had to depend on other people to get done, like the
Yeah,
painting and so on. So
and just the draining of the field. I
yeah,
remember
well,
that. That's not something you could do to get it done properly. I remember that draining of the field. Boy, I learned things. I learned a lot of things. And in
well,
terms
and
of the
I used to tell people
oh,
that
mm-hmm,
I thought I knew everything about football until
mm-hmm,
I was in charge of Mani Ramjan Stadium for that first World Cup.
mm-hmm,
The
mm-hmm,
among the things I learned that I didn't know that
mm-hmm,
every aspect of sport you will
mm-hmm.
never learn everything. You will not learn everything. There's always something new that is going to happen.
I like that in anything. even with event management. That is what I like about event management too, because no two events are the same. No, you could
It,
get married twice. Both weddings are going to be different.
it will never be the same. Never. Never.
Never be
Any
the same.
event will never be the same.
And in terms of the juve, somebody wants to start a juve band. What advice can you give them?
Again, get involved with another juve band. Learn, take a year or two, learn. Maybe 1 year, according to what you want to think, and learn
Mhm.
from it, and then maybe you can start. It's not like no,
Right.
like in my time when we started with $500, you wouldn't be able to start a juve band.
Ah, and you learn by almost going into the medium and
Going
giving
into
your
the
heart into the medium and into the grass.
yeah, oh, yeah, yeah.
And
But no, well, true, basically, because I just used to play. I didn't know much about handling all the other aspects of it. I just used to play.
okay. All right. So I have a question here, and I'm so interested in how you're going to answer this because I have your
I have,
adventurous spirit,
I
and
have no money. I have no money. Oh, it's not that? Okay, all
I
right, fine. Go ahead. Anything else? Go
have
ahead.
I have your adventurous spirit, and I
Yeah.
know I get that by being in the car with you, being in the what was it called, the green one,
Reynolds.
um, in the
Reynolds.
Reynolds
Reynolds.
and in the Reynolds and going here, there, and everywhere. My question to you: what is your favorite part or favorite place in Trinidad or Tobago?
Yeah. Favorite place.
Hmm.
Home.
Home. That's that. This is the second time I've heard somebody say that they very home is a favorite place.
Let me tell you why. From young, I used to knock about almost every part of Trinidad and Tobago.
I hear the
Parade,
stories.
football,
Mm-hmm.
cricket, any kind of sport, carnival, all parts of Trinidad and Tobago, right? So, and Fed, we used to start Fed from Boxing Night. Boxing Night
Mm-hmm.
straight into Carnival, right? Carnival will be going whole week, right? It was Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, whole week we going. You're going to work, you're going to work the next day and you're sleeping on yourself, but you're going, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now I tell people, I I don't miss anything outside. I don't miss anything outside. I can stay home and be very, very comfortable. This COVID is doing me nothing. I am quite comfortable with this.
This is why I'm your child because I tell people this because I had a good friend. Not had a good friend, I have a friend, Marissa.
Yeah, I
We used to
remember
knock about.
Marissa. Yeah.
So when I tell people I am comfortable at home, it's because we have had some adventures. We have had some awesome adventures. And I remember as I'm
I
speaking
don't think
now,
I want to know. No, 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 I
yeah,
don't think I want to know.
I remember one of the very first time I took a drink. Um, when Marissa was around too. It was three of us. One migrated to Canada, sorry. And they had a going away party for her. And the
I
three of
did
us,
the
we had
I
our
did the English looking girl.
Melanie, yes,
Yeah,
right.
okay, yeah.
And you came to because we spent the night there, and Marissa didn't live that far off. She could have walked from there to home. And I live San Fernando proper, and you had to come and pick me up to take me home. And the next morning, and I remember when I got in the car, I said, "Daddy, I had my first drink," and I remember you telling me, you looked at me and you said, "Congratulations. Don't make it a habit. Don't get drunk." And I always kept those two words. I up to this day, I've never gotten drunk. I've never gotten drunk, and it is with some of my friends. It became a challenge. They always wanted to try to get me drunk. They always tried. You're going to get drunk, and I was like, "Mm-hmm, sure, as well." And I tell people that. the even though I knock about, I remember how can I put this? Being still having you and mommy at the back of my mind with the advice. Mommy used to say, as long as you have a key, know when to leave. Sorry, know when to always have traveling money, know when to leave. And you at the back of my mind, don't get drunk, don't overdo it. So I was always like the if I could have drive any time, I would be the designated driver. But I knock about
Like
just the
like
same.
like for us in Panorama, you are the designated
Yeah,
driver to come
yeah,
back. Right.
yeah. For kind of for
And
panorama,
for that same reason, because you don't drink.
I drink, but not to get drunk. I drink if I, even for panorama. If I drink, it's early in the day, so that can wear off by the time it's time to go. Because for panorama, Daddy drives to go up because he gets the best parks. I don't know how. That's a talent I still need to get. And when we going back home, they can relax, and I drive to come back home. So they sleep coming down in the car, and it works well for us. It was really well for us.
Good arrangement.
Good arrangement. um, since COVID has hit with the band and with football, what have you been doing? Because I know everything, especially with those two things, everything came to a halt.
Well, I started to do more things around the house and
Mm-hmm.
I had a small garden in the back. Well, the bush,
Mm-hmm.
I had to call it bush, it wasn't grass again. Bush got really high, so I had to take some time to cut that down and started to try to plant one or two things again, plant some tomatoes and sweet peppers and so on. So basically, that is what I've been doing. But the health is I'm not as strong as I used to be. Where I could have cut the grass for the yard in one day. Now I
Mm-hmm.
have to cut it in parts because I don't have the strength and so on and to do it again. So
But you're still doing more than
and
me.
then these,
I
yeah, well, the thing is, I had you guys who would come and cut. They would come and cut, and I would pay them. But they started. Sometimes you call them and they can't come now. And I, you know me. After
mm-hmm.
nobody's going to make style of me. If I could do it for myself, I
And
do
I'm
it.
not gonna beg,
If I have
yeah.
my
Yeah, I'm
cutter
not gonna beg.
and I go up,
Mm-hmm.
and I do it for myself, and that's it.
And that's good. What do you think that what's next for you? What do you think is next when we come out of the restrictions? What do you plan to do when they open back? I don't even want to say
Nothing,
open back, but when we're allowed to gather.
nothing different. We just get back into the carnival mode and football. And well, right now I am really enjoying the football because you have Euros going on, you have cricket going on. So sometimes I even go outside because everything is there. The only difference is that you may be able to go outside now. As you know,
Okay.
I coach some of the youths in football. Even that I wanted to give up, but the people in the club don't want me to give up and keep telling them, listen, I'm 70 years old, I need to give up some of these
Yeah, but
things.
that
They want to give
because
me a bigger job.
you produce championships. How many times have you all won?
Well, when I did boys' school, we win national only once, but we always in the first four. Always in the
Okay.
first four. And 90% of the time, the team that beat us is the one that go on to win the national. But
Okay.
with the with the pro league, it is a bit
Mm.
more difficult. So we have never won that, but we always in the middle there, just ranking. So all of those things is time. It's not that I can't give out all the energies into it again. So I just wanted to give up some of those and let somebody else take.
Well,
But
you've done well, and you are good at guiding. Like when I have questions, you're good at guiding me without how can I put it?
without
I will
chastisement.
find myself there. Not just that, but I will find myself there. I was like, oh wait, he was this is where he was standing there. Not I realize that's how I get there. So you can probably look into consulting.
Right now, I have a friend. What he
Mm-hmm.
says right now, Everything now is La Bamba, and Feliz Navidad. That is all he's speaking right now. So
I like
I,
that.
I want to head into that direction. When I get up in the morning, drink some coffee, and I must decide what I want to do. Right? What I want to do. If I want to go out in the yard, if I feel to go down the road, or I feel to go to the grocery, I feel to go to the market. That's how I don't want to have to know, well, okay, you have to go and see about these guys today, or you have to go and do one. No, I must decide that this is what I want to do today. I got up this
It's a
morning.
want and not a need, yeah.
Yes, today's Father's Day. I said, I'm not going outside. And then the rain started to fall. I said, Lord, thank you. You make sure that I go outside. Right? I went outside once in the morning just to throw some water on some plants right in the front there, right in front of the house. Because I know the rain falling, not getting wet. So I just put some water in that and I came back inside. I was in cricket and football kind of finished. So
I have to get used to this, man, because as long as I've known you, you've always been on the go.
yeah.
And as I'm saying this, yeah, I see myself, but I have years to go again to get to you. So, sir, I want to
Yeah.
thank you very much for being part of this. I thoroughly enjoyed our chat, Mr. Wayne Caesar, my daddy. And for the rest of the day, you're going to be looking at football.
Cricket.
Hey, you change. Okay, okay.
No,
All
well,
right,
the
well,
football, the two games in Euro finished. There might be some games in the Copa, but I'm not sure. So I'll have to check. If there are games in Copa, yes, I'll be watching football.
all right. Well, that's good to know. So, on behalf of, well, I'm sure the guys call you already, because there's five of us. There's me and four boys. So I'm sure the guys would have called you already. But on behalf of the rest of the Caesars, happy Father's Day, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, Daddy.
I will, and you know you are my favorite daughter.
Oh Lord, yeah, my favorite daughter. I'm the favorite daughter. I
Yeah,
can
but
take
yeah,
that.
you are the only one. So
Well, that's why I can take that.
well,
All
who I'm
right.
going to
So,
compare with, right? No, but honestly, you know, and we have a good relationship, and I hope that it stays that way forever.
I hope so too. We fall out, but I always cherish our relationship. I
Yeah.
always do. All right, Daddy. Well, everyone, do you want anybody to reach you? Because I know now you're saying um, that you want to do what you want to do and not what you need to do. So, do you want people to reach you in case they want to find out about the band? Is there any information that you can give?
No, the same. You could give them my number and so on because no problem with that. The
Okay.
band, if we how we look, we're not sure that we're going to have carnival in 2022.
Yeah, yeah.
Although the attorney general seems sure that we're going to have, but the way with the vaccines and so on, there is a possibility. But
Yes.
with
We're
the
not sure.
few delinquent people, that could cause us not to have anything in 2022, or
Not sure.
maybe a delayed carnival in 2020. So I'm not
All
sure.
right. So for anybody looking to get onto the band, they call Jammer Productions. You can find them on Facebook and Instagram, and you can find Mr. Caesar there as well. So
Or
have a
they
good
could
afternoon.
sorry to interrupt, but
No,
they
go
could
ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
on the Facebook page and they will see some the portrayal that we had in
That's
the
right.
country. Yeah.
Yes,
So
yeah, yeah.
just
So you can just
Jama
go there.
Productions, JAMA Productions,
Mhm.
and you'll find it.
All right, everyone. So there you have it. Have a good evening, and join us again on Sunday at 4 for another edition of Masterminds. Have a good
Thank you
one.
very much.
Bye.